everybody? We are back. It is Taped on Live's favorite podcast, favorite channel, favorite everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at mholder95 for Matt, and of course, pandasubs.com, discount code TDL for 25% off all your protein needs. All right, so we are doing free agency today. Of course, Matt is actually going to do actual free agents. So I'm going to do Geno Smith. So because I did Chris Godwin and I did Najee Harris too. I did Najee Harris and Chris Godwin and I was going to do guard. Yeah. But maybe we'll do that later. I don't know, but I mean, we'll find who's getting signed by Monday, right? So
yeah, I was going to say we are running out of time a little bit here. I think unfortunately that's the time of year with the Raiders. They're going to keep us on our toes, and we're going to do some work that's going to end up becoming irrelevant in like an hour. Like,
yeah,
for an example for you, for my mailbag column that publishes on Saturdays, my lead was about Russell Wilson, and I had to lead about a third of it, and then literally make up a question because it was too late about Geno Smith for the lead. So
yeah. It's funny. I just wrote an article about Chip Kelly being able to adjust to any quarterback, and I didn't mention Geno Smith at all. I talked about Justin Fields, like Daniel Jones.
It is funny how it kind of like shook out because it was like I felt like at the beginning, like when the the controversy, like the beginning of the offseason, I guess, for the Raiders, like started, like people had mentioned like, trading for Geno Smith, and then a little bit when Pete Carroll got hired, and then it just seemed to quiet down, and everyone kind of just shifted it to like the free agency, and maybe it's just the time of year and the draft. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was like, Raiders trade for Geno Smith. Like, it caught me off guard. I didn't see that coming. There was no sort of leaks, no sort of reports of that. The only thing that was close to it was Grant Cohn talking about seeing Pete Carroll chopping it up with McDonald and Schneider on the airplane on the way to Indianapolis, and he actually ended up calling a shot and predicting it, I think, as a tongue-in-cheek joke, and worked out.
Yeah, man. I think it was with Geno Smith. I think it was the Seahawks didn't want to pay him what he wanted.
Yeah,
so they kind of just gave up and they just hit up Pete. Pete would take him. Like, hey, Pete, you want Geno? He's like, yeah, actually, I do.
Yeah, a 34-year-old doesn't seem so old for 74-year-old Pete Carroll, 73-year-old Pete Carroll, excuse me.
Yeah. I mean, and he's still playing well too. So what did you think of the trade for him, Matt? What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was, like I said, it kind of caught me off guard. I didn't really think it was much of an option. I kind of just assumed the Seahawks were just going to at the very least, ride it out this past year with Geno. So I wasn't really thinking about it too much. But like you said, I think Geno's a good pickup. I know someone pointed out like he had 15 picks last year, and I think that is a little bit of like what you're going to have to get with Geno is he is kind of that boomer bust player because he has those 15 interception, but he also was like 6th in big time throws with like 28 last year on PFF. So he is like a little bit of that boomer bust. And I saw someone else too. I think shout out to Tristan Kuhn who pointed out like something like five of the picks were either on tips or Hail Mary. So numbers a little bit inflated. So, but I mean, Geno's a solid pickup for this stage in the game. Obviously, the age is a big factor in here too. I'm interested to see, like as we record this, the contract extension is not out yet. I'm interested to see, one, how many years, of course, and then 2, what the guaranteed money looks like. I think the guaranteed money is going to be more important than how many years, because that's going to really tell you how many years it is. With Geno, I definitely think he is a Band-Aid for a cut that needs stitches, and that he's not the long-term solution at 34. Like, I think if you're the Raiders, you're still at least looking into drafting a quarterback this year. But what it doesn't force you to pick one this year. Like, if you don't like the QB3s in this class, you don't like the Jalen Milroe, the Will Howards, the Jackson Darts, the Quinn Ewers, who apparently is in that discussion now too, then you don't have to take them, and you can wait till next year and try your luck next year and see what you can do, because you bought yourself at least a couple of years. But my point is, or the bigger point here is, I think you got a solid quarterback, you got a solid starting quarterback, good starting quarterback for the next couple of years, but you still need your long-term and future option. But I do kind of like the idea of drafting Jalen Milroe and letting him sit behind Geno for a couple of years too, because I can't imagine the extension is going to be much more than 2 years.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because I think with Geno Smith, I don't see him like as a spot starter in my opinion. I think he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. So if you take that approach with him and you see what happens maybe this year, and then next year you may end up drafting somebody. I mean, I was talking about when I was on the Friday Night Live show, I talked about how they were going to draft Anthony Richardson after he made the Pro Bowl. So, I mean, this is not something that's going to stop them from doing something in the draft if they really like somebody, right? I mean, they're not going to be tied to Geno Smith that way. If you look at it, they're going to draft Anthony Richardson. They might do the same thing with Jalen Monroe and try to develop him in the offense that way. So, but I do think that he just makes the Raiders competitive.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's what we want. I mean, the last couple of years, I mean, they're kind of competitive. Years came in with the rah stuff, and they got more rah-rah-y, but that didn't work out last year. They weren't competitive at all last year. They are going to be competitive, right? They're going to be in the playoff race at the end of the year. Probably it's not going to be like a awful team, right? With Geno Smith, I think Geno Smith is good enough for that, and if the Raiders can protect him, it's going to go a lot better than Raiders fans think.
Yeah, for sure.
Because a lot of his interceptions too are when he's under pressure and he's trying to do too much, which I'm going to go for his interceptions. But yeah, but I mean the high level throws, like the wow throws, are all over the film. So you're going to see a lot of great plays, and then he's going to get the most out of Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, those guys, and I think that they might even bring in Tyler Lockett because I think him and Tyler Lockett have some rapport. I think that might be a thing. We'll see how that goes, but.
I get a little lost on that one. I don't know. I kind of think Lockett's a little washed at this stage, and I'd rather see I'd rather see Lockett's reps go to a guy like Trey Tucker, who's entering that third pivotal year, and kind of evaluate him. But I think the point you made too about like him being under pressure, like the thing to take in context about Geno's stat line last year, and this goes hand in hand with the picks, is the Seahawks offensive line was awful and beaten up last year. Like I think Charles Cross missed some games, who was their stud left tackle. Abraham Lucas missed, I think, like the first half of the season. Something like that. And then when he came back, wasn't the same. Connor Williams retired on them mid-season. And Connor Williams was like, they picked him up like a couple weeks into training camp. And like they were starting, I think Oluwatimi, I think I'm saying that right. I think if he wasn't a rookie last year, it was the second year and he barely played as a rookie. He wasn't very good. Both their guards were banged up. They need guard help. Like the Seahawks line was an absolute mess last year, and that obviously didn't help. And I think too, with Geno's playing style, him playing hero ball, that was just a disastrous combination. Whereas with the Raiders, I think you have a little bit more stability. Obviously, still have to get a little bit more insurance at the guard spot, but it's a better offensive line and a better situation for him that I think he can thrive in a little more.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we're doing other free agents though. You're doing some defensive guys. So you're doing Poona Ford, DJ Reed, and I forgot the other guy. So
Nick Bolton.
All right. So some linebackers and some guys are gonna. It's like a tier of money there too as well, Matt. Like because Poona Ford is probably not gonna be too expensive. Nick Bolton might be a little bit more pretty expensive, and then DJ Reed's gonna be really expensive. So. Yeah, it's
almost like I was a little strategic,
Yeah, a little bit. It seems that way.
I might be dumb, but I ain't that dumb. You know what I mean? Yeah, and then I did all three levels of the defense, but yeah. Kind of what I wanted to touch on were obviously three needs. As you guys have heard me talk about a lot, love to see them get a veteran corner that they can upgrade on. DJ Reed, arguably the best corner in this year's class. Maybe Charvarius Ward. Maybe throw a guy like Asante Samuel Jr. in that category too, as a younger guy. But what I like about Reed is he's a pretty damn good. He has really good route recognition, pretty good hips and stuff like that. Is on the smaller side, but he's feisty, man. He'll play through the back of a receiver, get some PBUs, and he's been consistent throughout his career. Like if you look at his PFF grades, like been in the 70s over the last 6 years, pretty much, and it's been really and obviously has ties to Pete Carroll a little bit too. Having played the 2 years in Seattle for them, and whatnot. Bolton, a guy that I really liked coming out of Missouri. I think he can fill the Robert Spillane role, just being a little bit younger and a little more athletic to give you more upside in coverage. I'm going to focus mainly on his run defense because that's what you're kind of bringing him in to do. Yeah. But I think he'll be again one of the better linebackers available this year. I think, especially since I believe Levante David got re-signed with the Bucks recently in the last week, and then Poona Ford probably more under the radar, but guy that had a career resurgence last year with the Chargers, and could really be an upgrade over John Jenkins at the nose tackle spot, especially since Jenkins is about to be, I think, a 35-year-old free agent, so a little bit younger, and also tied to Pete Carroll, was an undrafted free agent for the Seahawks in 2018. I want to say played in Seattle for I believe 5 years, something like that. So Can be disruptive and like another guy that really kind of revived his career last year with the Chargers. Playing pretty well and good run defender too. So
yeah. Put Ford had a monster game against the Raiders in week 1 last year. So I remember Puda Ford watching him on film. So I mean, all those options are good because I really do feel like he's trying to get all his Seattle guys back. He's trying to get all the
bring
homies.
the band back together.
I know, man. He's trying to get all the homies back. He's so like DJ Reed's, the Puda Fords, like Shaquille Griffin. I saw him out there. I was like, he's an option. Because it feels that way. It does. It feels like he's trying to bring in the guys that know his program so he can build his program, which it makes sense in my opinion. I mean, you want guys that already know your culture a little bit and who can kind of implement it to other players and have that understanding and then kind of lead the way. So it makes sense in my head. But yeah, I feel like we're about to have Seattle move to Vegas here. Right?
See Vegas.
Exactly. It's definitely the Patriots. Patriots West didn't work. Now we're doing the Legion of West.
Now we're doing Seattle Southwest.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get into the defense, and we'll finish the show off with some Geno
nice.
Smith.
I like it. Bury the lead a little bit.
Yeah, bury the lead, man. You know what I mean?
All right, so we're going to start with DJ Reed. First thing that kind of stands out going to start with his route recognition here. I mean, you see here against the screen, again, just the football IQ that he has being a veteran. Like you'll see the screen here, like this receiver is going to go out to block him, but Reed reads it so quickly. He just crashes downhill immediately and ends up beating the block and end up getting the TFL here. See it here from the backside. Also a decent tackler for how small he is, only like 5'8", 5'9", like 185 pounds, but like you can see too, like gets low. I mean, the picture's a little blurry here from the end zone view, but gets low, wraps the hips, and able to bring him down. Didn't have a ton of misses last season. So again, this time I'm going to line up against Jordan Addison. If you want to sell yourself on DJ Reed, go back and watch this Vikings game. We'll see a couple clips here, but he did a pretty damn good job against both their top receivers, Addison and Justin Jefferson. But same kind of thing here. Like he sees the slot fade, stays patient, or he's going to get the slot fade. And what I like too is like you're going to see Addison start to stem inside, but watch DJ Reed's hips. What he does a great job of is staying square to the line of scrimmage. And then once he sees Addison break here to the outside, he knows what's coming, cuts off the route here at the top. I mean, in perfect position. And that's going to force Addison to play some defense where Reed damn near comes up with his pick. Like you can see right there. Addison kind of gets a piece of it. If it weren't for that, he might have had that one. This one was really, really damn impressive. You see a little deep curl route here from Addison. And I mean, this is like teach tape material on running the route for the receiver. Like you'll see right here at the top of the break. Boom. Like both players right there have their hips sunk at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's zero separation. So
that's a nice play right there.
If you wanted Sam Darnold over Geno Smith, don't watch this tape because that was a forced throw. And again, 5'8", but I mean, I know Addison's not the biggest dude in the world either, but the good timing and be able to play through the back of the receiver, again, as a smaller corner, that's pretty impressive. Go rip the hands and get the PBU there. The other thing I like about him, as I mentioned this is his fluid hips. Like you'll see this game, like he ends this game against the Broncos where it was pouring rain, and
I don't know how you watched this whole game, man. I'm proud of you.
I will say, shout out to NFL Pro. The picture quality is perfect for how terrible the weather was. But like you can see, like that come into play here, where he kind of slips at the top, but's able to stay on balance, and like the hips, like he's completely parallel to the line of scrimmage here, or not to the line of scrimmage, to the sideline, and then flips 180 degrees and is able to recover from the stumble and go get the PBU on third down. Let's see, get a good view of the PBU here from the backside. Not the greatest one, but you get the point.
Mm-hmm.
Another one too. This time going up against Jefferson. Again, I think he only gave up like one catch this game, and it was like a first and long where he's playing off coverage against Jefferson, and it was actually still a pretty good rep where he got the coverage stop. But again, like you can see the hips, like going to be able to flip it. Basically, I guess this would be 90 degrees this time.
Mm-hmm.
My geometry is coming in handy.
Yeah, there you go, man.
Yeah, but yeah, again, same thing. Like just smooth and fluid. able to get back in the picture and at the very least contest that catch and then knock it out here and see if he gets a piece of the ball from the end zone. Nah, a little bit too far in front, but again, just great coverage on one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in the game. Another one here against Jefferson. This will be the last one from Reed. Little circus route. Again, just run a stride for stride with Jefferson. It's lining up in press coverage, which not a lot of guys like to do against that dude. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of guys can.
One-on-one, too. I mean, he has a little bit of a double team, but not really.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he plays this from trail, I'm assuming because he's thinking this safety is going to play outside and he's on the hash too far. Mm-hmm. And he ends up not really getting any help. But his coverage is so sticky here that he's forcing Darnold to throw it back shoulder 45 yards down the field, which obviously is a low percentage throw. Mm-hmm. Ends up getting the incompletion. Again, against, I mean, can't get any better competition than that. And that's perfect coverage. Also like that little look back to the ball, find the ball in the air, and stay attached. That's nice.
I feel like you give him a lot of credit throwing that back shoulder, but
well,
I just think so. But maybe he did. Maybe he did that. But
well, let me say this: he tried to throw it back shoulder. That was the only place he could complete it. Is kind of what I was going for. Not a great back shoulder throw, to be clear. Moving on to Nick Bolton here. One of the things that really impresses me is he has a bunch of ways that he can defeat blocks. Like this time against the Saints here, he's actually going to gamble. Like he's responsible for this A gap right here, and you're going to see him against this, I believe it's outside zone, maybe mid zone, against this center. Like he kind of gets in a bad position here from the jump, playing in the weak side A gap. But what he does is takes a gamble and just uses his quickness by selling it vertical and then working back inside to beat the center across the center's face. And hey, you can gamble, just win. Nice use of hands too to defeat the block and ends up getting involved in the tackle there. So close your eyes. I'm a fair warning about this tape. I am going to show a few clips of him giving it to JPJ a little bit. This was not JPJ's best game. He kind of beat the Raiders up in that, I think, Week 13 matchup on Black Friday. Mm-hmm. But this time, I will say he does get some help from the play call here because he's going to line up, obviously, in the B gap on the outside shade of Dylan Parham here, and then post-snap kind of work over the top. So he does kind of get JPJ out of position here. But what I like is that little rip move. Mm-hmm. And we'll see this in a better example of this too. But his base too, like nice and wide, so that when JPJ does get a piece of him, like we've seen JPJ get a piece of linebackers and knock them out of the gap and maybe not have the best technique and still make that a hole. But against Bolton, that combo, that rip move and that wide base allows him to just absorb the contact, still beat the block, and then go and make the play. Better example here against the Saints. This time he's going to blitz and come downhill. But like you can see, like again, guard does a decent job of reacting and trying to get the block, but he just stays on balance. Again, you can see the base he has and ends up pushing himself into the play, making the tackle. Another one here against the Raiders. Oh, yeah, this one was my favorite. He's just picking on the rookies. This time has a little bit. Was that the TJ Glaze? Yeah. This was a rough one for Glaze and JPJ. This time, I will say he has the pre-snap leverage advantage being on the play side. But what you'll notice, or what one thing that stands out, are his instincts. Like as soon as he reads outside zone, he's coming over the top, or excuse me, pin and pull concept here. He's coming over the top, sees the outside run, and again, just takes it to DJ Glaze, basically accounting for two blockers, right, by beating JPJ and then just being more physical than Glaze at the point of attack and then still making the tackle. I think this one's going to be kind of the same. Oh, yeah, I remember this one. So this one takes a little bit of explaining here. I'll let this play through before I start pausing it. But on the surface level, it looks pretty simple. But what I liked about this is pre-snap, he's responsible for this A gap, right? We got B gap here, C, D. But what he recognizes is that the Raiders are going to run long trap where this guard is going to pull to go kick out the edge defender. And then Powers Johnson is going to try and come flat or come a little bit flatter to the line of scrimmage and cut him off. And what the Raiders are hoping for is that that's going to freeze the linebacker to give JPJ a chance. But once he sees that guard pull, he's out and just beats him to the spot and ends up making an easy tackle for himself and getting an unblocked tackle. So that's what I'm talking about a little bit with his instincts. See another good example here, like against the Falcons, similar to that, a little bit of a combo between those last two with him taking on the block from Clays and reading the play perfectly. As soon as the ball snapped and he recognizes where the offensive line's going, he's moving and then just taking the fight to the center there. Ends up getting a TFL. And on top of it, too, what I like about his game, too, is he's not just someone who's like, I'm going to read the play and shoot the gap and kind of take myself out of it. He's smart about when he shoots, too. Like, you'll see this one, like, again, Algier here does screws up his assignment and goes out to go block someone that's already accounted for. And, like, if you watch Bolton, I'll back this up a little bit, he's going to, like, start to flow, then hesitate, and then crash once he sees the fullback basically go to the wrong spot. And that allows him to go make the tackle. And I believe this was a short yardage, maybe like fourth down or something like that, third and short. Similar kind of thing here. Again, just reads the play and picks his spots, wait for that gap to open, shoot it, go make the tackle. Another short yardage situation. Again, sorry. He took it to the Raiders in that.
Yeah, I remember that film, bro. Yes, he did.
Yeah. All right, moving on to Poona Ford. So one thing about Ford is he is a little susceptible to getting reached as a bigger guy. Like you're going to see this time, like he's lined up here in the A gap and he is stepping. He does step to take on the guard here, which is kind of going to screw him a little bit because they're going to run outside zone where they're flowing to the right. So he is going to get reached out of his gap. But what I like about him is he doesn't quit on the play. And two, he has the strength to close the gap with the man. So like you can see here, like he's a great job, one, getting his hands inside and using his hands, and then using his strength where he's not in the A gap anymore, but there's nowhere for Derrick Henry to run, right? He's closed the gap with the man, and on top of it, gets off the block and brings down that big old back. See the same kind of thing here against Cody Mock. This time they're going to run another, I believe it's outside zone. Yeah, Cody Mock tries to go with the little box out butt block. But again, Ford just doesn't quit on it, uses his hands like you can see right here, get his hands on the hip, uses his hands and straight to close the gap with the man, and still ends up making the tackle and getting off the block and making the tackle, which, hey, similar to Bolton working underneath blocks, if that's how you're going to do it and you're going to make the play, we'll take it every time. On top of it, too, as far as just taking on blocks with pure strength, this is Daniel Falele, who is 380 pounds. And that's just great leverage and beating him. Doesn't quite make the tackle here, but we'll see another example of this, of him just winning at the point of attack and causing havoc. Again, perfect hands, like keeps his hands in, unlocks the hips. He is 5'11", so he has some natural leverage to him. But again, pretty impressive at the point of attack. Going up against the Bucks here. Again, same kind of thing, like just wins at the point of attack, resets the line of scrimmage. I mean, obviously Wirf's climbing to the second level, but like look at the difference between these two. Look at the difference between him and Mock right here, right? Mock's kind of working laterally, reset the line of scrimmage. And on top of it, he's got a really good hump move to get off blocks. And right here, we get a little bit of hole, a little cloth there. I think if that doesn't happen, I think he makes tackle here, which is impressive because he's responsible for this B gap, but he ends up shedding into the A gap and having a chance to make the play. Like he's part of the reason why Bucky Irving cuts that back inside and lets 93 Tyler Tart make that tackle. I think this is the one. Yeah. This time, Bredesen doesn't quite get as much cloth, but same kind of thing where he's responsible for the A gap on the backside here, and then just use that hump move to cover, to get off the block and then be able to get in the B gap and make the tackle once White cuts it back. So again, you can see a little bit of the strength here. All right. Which one we got this one? Oh yeah. This is another great one. This time we're going to cross face here and take on Falele again. Just beat Falele with a nice little rip move. Ricard against this lead zone here from the Ravens. Takes his block on too and ends up occupying two blockers, which we'll take that every single time. We're freeing up a linebacker at that point, giving us ourselves the numbers advantage when you're doing that. Making the play without making the play. Going to see the same play call here from the Ravens. This time, we're going to get involved in the tackle. And again, same type of result. Takes on Falele, beats Falele. That little hump move again, too. Take on Rashard's block, get our pads back down. Boom. Get involved in the tackle. One last clip here. Again, the other thing that kind of stands out about Ford is he can get off the ball and penetrate too. We've seen him take on blocks and win at the point of attack, but when you just ask him to one gap and shoot gaps, like he can do that too. Like he's going up against Linderbaum, who one of Linderbaum's biggest strengths is he has a quick get off. Yeah. He just beats him off the ball with that little rip move. And I mean, the running back here, like he's trying to bounce this outside, but this is what we call cutting the field in half because he closes this off. Running back has to cut back. Someone else is able to make the play. Bosa is able to go over there and make the play after he beats the tight end's block. So again, yeah. So three guys obviously can impact three different levels of the defense. DJ Reed going to be more your corner that can one shut things down. Good route recognition, veteran that can I think would be a good like veteran add to a rather young position group for the Raiders, and especially one that could use a leader. And then with Bolton and Ford, obviously they impact the running game more than anything. And the thing that stands out about both those guys that I hope everyone picked up on is they're not just like one trick ponies. Like it's not like Bolton can just win at the point of attack or like stack and shed and stuff like that. They can defeat blocks in several different ways. And especially a guy like Ford, like Ford can make plays without making the play. You know what I mean? Which is what you do as a nose tackle, what a good nose tackle does, where he's either he'll make tackles on himself and he can get off blocks, but at the same time, he's also has plenty of plays where he's setting things up from other guys, whether he's getting penetration and getting in the backfield or taking on a couple of blockers like we saw in those reps against the Ravens. So three guys that can play for sure.
Yeah, man, I liked all those guys' film. I mean, Bolton, I mean, he's always been a great run defender. You can talk about whether he can cover or not, but middle linebackers, in my opinion, can get away with not covering as much because I think, you want them to play well in zone and stuff like that. But I mean, their main job, you want them to be balling against the run. Yeah. So, and that's what he does. I mean, Bolton is a stud against a run defender. I mean, so is Ford, and I think both those guys are, options. But DJ Reed, that was great to watch because I mean I think that's somebody that Pete Carroll would want to bring back in just because he could play inside. If they'll bring back Nate Hobbs, he could play inside outside. And he could tackle too. It's the type of corner that he likes. So I could really see him bringing him back. And I can see them signing all these guys, to be honest. But I definitely want them to attack linebacker in free agency and attack defense tackle in free agency as well and get with some of these guys. But corner is a big one. So I would really like if they have the money for it. In my opinion, you could spend big on a guy like DJ Reed, man. So
go after it for sure. Yeah, and I think with Bolton too, like he's actually held his own in coverage a little bit too. He's definitely not a guy that I think you want to have manning up on running backs and stuff like that. I think that's where you're gonna see a little bit of I said he's a decent athlete, but he's not a great one or anything. He's not like the modern linebacker that's basically a safety that can really stay with guys. But what he is good at is he can do things in zone, which is basically what Robert Spillane has done over the past year. But I think Bolton's a little bit better at it, and obviously 4 years younger or whatever, so maybe has a little bit more of a long-term solution. So I'm a big fan of Bolton's game. Like I said, I've liked him since he was coming out of Missouri and was a little disappointed when the Chiefs got him, but Chiefs tagged Trey Smith and I don't think they're going to be able to afford him because they already limited on cap space. So at the very least, he hopefully will be out of the division, but I'd love it if he came to switch to the dark side and came to that side of the rivalry.
Yeah, the Chiefs might lose a couple guys in defense. They might lose Justin Reed too. I mean,
yeah, probably.
Free agent as well. All right, let's get into some Geno Smith. Everybody came here for it. All right, so start off with Geno Smith here. So we start off. I was gonna do it short passes, but I was like, it was gonna take too long. I would be like 10 minutes. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start intermediate deep, and then we'll get to playmaking, and then get some interceptions here at the end. Look at that. So we'll start off with this first throw here to Jackson. Is it Smith and Jigba? Smith and Jigba, right?
Yeah.
So what I like about this one is that he's under pressure. He's getting this out route right here. Looks like they're just playing some man-to-man Patriots here. And he's under pressure, but he's still able to get a lot of velocity on this throw while he's getting hit here. You see it, able to step up, getting cracked, still able to throw that ball. I mean, that's about, what, 30 yards on the line, kind of like a little bit.
Yeah.
You get a completion there to Jackson Smith Enigba.
And Jigba.
In Jigba. just start saying Jackson on this one. So, but yeah, you get the pressure. And what I like about Geno Smith is that he's always poised. And, you know, it could be like a little bit of a detriment. We'll talk about the interceptions a little bit later, but he's always poised in the pocket. The pressure doesn't bother him. And you can see how he's still able to go through his reads, able to step up. You know, he's not got pressure coming. He's making that throw. And that's a perfect placement right there. Versus tight coverage. Boom. Ball right there. You can see it. Perfect throw. All right. So here's this next one, which is this is what I call getting some Brock Bowers love here, because we see Brock Bowers do some stuff like this. And he's getting popped again here. So you get the play action, right? And you're going to get Fant. He's basically do a kind of like a post out, or they call it a blaze out in the West Coast offense. So you get the play action here. He's got the blitz coming versus the Falcons. And like I said, what I love is that he always finds a way to hang in the pocket. I can make the case that maybe he should throw this ball a little bit earlier, right?
Yeah.
Like me to throw it already, but he took a little extra hitch there.
Yeah.
But he still gets that ball off. And that's one thing I would say about Geno Smith. I mean, you're going to get some anticipation, but you're not going to get anticipation all the time, right? That's a good throw. And you see it from the backside here under pressure. But that's why I like he with a bad offensive line and him getting hit all the time, you're gonna see a lot of that. Him able to make these big time throws downfield while he's getting hit. All right, here's another one here. I really like this one too, because you got a spot concept to the side. So spot is with a flat, you got a hitch, and you got a corner route on this one, right? So, you know, opens up that way. The Lions look like they're playing quarters here, or it was cover 6 here. So they're basically all over this, right? And it doesn't work out. So it's like, okay, nobody's open. And what Geno Smith does, he steps up in the pocket here. He's going to hit Tyler Lockett. You see, take it back a little bit. See Tyler Lockett runs a hitch route, but Tyler Lockett sees it. He moves, right? And that allows Geno to step up, and he throws just a dart right there. Boom. Right into his chest for 29.
See, old Lockett would have scored there. Lockett would have taken that up the numbers and scored.
I mean, Lockett's like when I was watching, he reminded me like he's like an old slot receiver now. Like he's, you know, he ain't fast. He ain't getting those deep balls. But if they want a slot, like a veteran, and they draft somebody behind him like Jalen Noel or something, that could work out for me. But they just have really good rapport, and this is a perfect example, right? Him moving and making himself open for Geno Smith right there. Boom.
Yeah. Find the window.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now this play is tough. I'm gonna say this. That's the word my cousin used from Baltimore. He says things are tough, but it's dope. So I'm gonna use that word. This is tough, right? So on this one, you're getting basically like I believe this is cover 6 on this one, because this guy, he's playing a little bit higher, but he's playing in the flat here, and you're gonna get a smash concept from these two. So right, you're gonna get this guy in motion. He's gonna do a kind of a flat, and you're gonna get a corner here, right? So what I like about this one, what you can see from Geno here, is Geno's going to hold this corner right here, right? And you can see it, like, even gives a little bit of a pump fake. You see that? Let me go back. You see a little bit of a pump fake there, boom, like just right there, just enough there. And then, right, and then see this guy bites on it, and then, but what he's going to do, he's going to throw a dart right behind this guy's head. Oh.
Yeah, I think that's actually match 3.
Okay.
But that safety's way in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
That is a nice ball to hold that corner.
That's a great throw. See from the backside here. I think I forgot the 40-yard DK Metcalf throw on here too, because I almost special. But yes,
Just rewind that real quick. That's a fucking laser, dude.
no, it's a dime, bro.
Like there's no arc on that ball. And if there was, that might be a pick.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can see, then you just watch his eyes too on this, so you can see it really quick. Just boom, open it up, come back to it. It had to be perfectly timed. And that's what you get with that type of arm strength.
Yeah.
All right. So one thing he does really well, which kind of when I was watching, I was like, man, maybe we could draft T-Mac here at 6. What is the back shoulders? Like you see this one here, it's just perfectly placed here on this one. It's back shoulder DK Metcalf. Like there's really nowhere else. I mean, Carlson Davis is basically all over this play.
Yeah.
It's really nowhere for Geno to throw it except where he put it, like right there. Like look at that placement of that football. That's the first play. When I turned on the film, that's the first play I saw. I was like, oh, okay, you know what? I can do this. This is going to be good for me. I don't have to watch. You guys might get more quarterback breakdowns from me in the season for sure. You see it. It's like the placement of this ball.
Yeah, it's beauty.
Perfect throw. All right, here's another back shoulder here. Lock it. Perfectly placed right there. I'm saying, man, I was like, maybe T-Mac might work. He can't separate. We got a back guy who can throw back shoulders.
Yeah.
Right there. Just great placement on that one, too. Beautiful. And you're right, because you're right, though, Matt, because Lockett's not winning anymore. You see that right here? He's got to get back. He's got to get back shoulders down.
That doesn't look like the 4-3 Tyler Lockett I remember at Kansas State.
Yeah, you see it right there. Perfectly placed back shoulder.
Ooh.
Nice play there. This one, Tyler Lockett is going to look better, though. He's going to look better on this one, right? But this is a deep pass to Tyler Lockett here on this one. Basically, we get a curl fade here, a curl wheel. But this is just a perfectly placed ball on that one. Like,
there we go.
You can't throw this ball any better, in my opinion. Like it's because he low key throws him open, right? Because this guy, he's kind of expecting back shoulders because Lockett's not very fast anymore, but Geno Smith kind of throws him open basically on this one.
Yeah,
it's perfectly placed. And then this is another great pass on this one as well. Which I really like this pass here, but he drops this one. This is a drop by DK Metcalf. But see, it's basically the kind of quick fade route here to DK down here, right? And he has to get this ball down before, of course, because Jesse Bates is all over this, right? They're trying to double team DK here, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of can see that he even tries to hold him a little bit.
But
look at that, just dart, but DK Metcalf drops it. But just look how the line he puts on this ball. Like, right, what? Oh,
yeah. I mean, maybe like a touch more air on it, but you also got to rope that because of the safety.
Yeah, I agree. Probably a little bit more touch works a little bit here. Like, what I'm saying, like hold the safety, right? Hold the safeties, keep it look that way, come back and just kind of just throw a dart. Like I said, that ball's right off his hands.
Yeah. Especially with his eye, just like with the way he held Bates with his eyes, maybe a little more touch, but yeah, I mean, that's still hit DK in both hands. It's still got to be caught. NFL, it's got to be caught. Yeah. I'd hope you come down with that.
Yeah. Metcalf had a lot of drops, man. I was watching the film.
Yeah. That was another one of his problems at Ole Miss.
So we'll get into his playmaking, which I think is a very underrated part of his game here. So on this one, right, he's got the blitz. I mean, he's got a free rusher. I mean, you talk about how bad this offensive line is, right? I mean, I think they want this concept over here somewhere, right? Because but you got Metcalf on this side, right? And they're kind of playing. You see Christian Gonzalez playing inside leverage here, kind of take away whatever they got. They got this guy over the top of Metcalf, but he's got a free rusher off the blitz. But he's able to get out of the pocket. You can see it. He's still got some speed to him, man. He's not a slow guy.
Yeah.
He's able to make a play out of the pocket right there. Which is, I mean, that's what you Raiders fans want with Gardner Minshew. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, man. You see it backside of this one.
Yeah, this might have been the play that forced Connor Williams into retirement.
Is it? You might be right. He's like, this ain't gonna work no more. I'm done, man. All right, here's another one. Being a playmaker on this one. This one is just a crazy pass because if you look at the concept here, he looks like he's basically, right? Because the blitz, he has Chenault, right?
Yeah.
But
the left guard
just gets destroyed, demolished
off the snap.
Right. And then you could make the case that he could throw this ball earlier, right? I 100%, I agree. He could probably throw this ball a little bit earlier to where he's getting here. Right.
Yeah.
But he's got to avoid the pressure. And he probably is getting hit when he's thrown if he does do that. But you see him kind of get out of the pocket here, avoid it. And then he just throws this dime here to DK Metcalf. Like DK Metcalf is not really open here.
Yeah.
And the corner has his back turn. He just throws it perfectly right there.
Yeah, that's.
It's we just haven't seen anything like this in a minute. It's refreshing for me to watch this stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Look at that, just perfectly placed.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe T-Mac is an option at 6 because that is a T-Mac catch right there.
You know what I mean? Like I was watching this, I was like, man, maybe they should go get T-Mac. All right, so this what really shows his athletic ability. This is like a Patrick Mahomes style play here. So he's able to, of course, his offensive line is awful. So he's able to break a tackle here, get out of the pocket. This is something you never want a quarterback to do, is throw across your body. But he makes a play
into 3 defenders. But
yeah,
when you got a hose, you can get away with it.
Yeah. This offensive line was terrible, man.
I don't think they pick up the line game. Yeah, they don't pick up the line game, and the 2 guys that are trying to pick it up both get beat. The right guard and the right tackle. And Olatimi's elite.
Yeah. Boom. That's a great play there. So he's not a statue. He's not a statue for sure. And then this one, I love this play right here. So right off the snap. Okay, it's just right off the snap, dog.
That George Fant.
Yeah. But he avoids it. You know what I mean? Like he avoids it. He does a good job of avoiding it, stepping up. He knows what he's got in this concept, right? He knows he's got this wheel with Kenneth Walker against a linebacker. So he's able to step up and just throw up. Nice little throw right there.
Ooh. Nice catch by Walker, too.
Yeah, avoid that. Great catch by Walker. He's got better hands than Metcalf, I guess. Because you see it here. It's just crazy how quick he beat this guy, man.
Well, I think Fant forgot the snap count.
Yeah, but this kind of goes to show if the Raiders protect this guy, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different. So I got 3 interceptions on here to end this. So on this one, and what you'll notice on Geno Smith interceptions is they're all late in the down. Right? Not late. Yeah. Late in the play.
Late in the play. Yeah,
that's what I mean, right? So you'll see here, right? So he wants DK on this one, right? I really believe he's got double ends, right? He's got basically kind of like a double digs here, not full on levels, right? With the choice route with Kenneth Walker, the H choice out of the backfield. So he's basically looking at this H choice right here, and he's looking at DK Metcalf, right? Now, H choice not there. I think he could have fit this into Jackson right here.
JSN.
Yeah. That's the better one. JSN. Could have fit this into JSN right here, but because he's looking at the choice route, it's not there, right? But I think he could have fit this in right here, but he doesn't like it for some reason there, and instead he throws it to Metcalf, who runs a terrible route. But this is not a good decision. Like I don't know. This is not a dig. Like, was he trying to go deep or something?
Yeah, and I think it kind of goes back to a little bit of what you were talking about before, where he's not a great anticipation thrower. Like if he threw that through hit, because I think why he comes off of it is he sees the safety barreling down on JSN. Mm-hmm. But if he threw that with good timing, once once JSN gets right now, maybe like past like right at Fred Warner,
Yeah.
he could complete that, and he doesn't. So that's probably where his limitation is. Not great anticipation on those throws. And
Yeah.
it's just an awful route by Metcalf.
Yeah, because Metcalf, to be honest, if Metcalf's coming downfield, just if he runs a dig, I mean, he's open here. I mean, that's what he's thinking. But it's still late in the play. Like, I mean, how long did he hold the ball there, right?
Yeah.
So it just comes off that way. And then you got some of these ugly red zone ones. And like this is I'm gonna show this like because I'm gonna be like, I see the vision of these throws every single time. It's just like you can't do this under pressure though, Geno.
Yeah.
So this is when it gets frustrating, right? Because what you see here is basically getting JSN. He's gonna run a over route, and then you're gonna get Lockett here, like based on a quick hitch, right? Which is I believe where he wants to go. He wants to go here, but you see 21, he's all over that. And what happens here is now it becomes a broken play. He sees JSN going here, right? That's what he sees. He's like, oh my God, I can throw this touchdown to JSN. But he has Jared Verse about to tackle him at the same time. So he doesn't get enough on it and ends up being a pick six.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a big.
Yeah. I don't know what the down and distance is, but we'll take the sack there. If it's third down, you know what I mean?
No, it's 13-13 game too here.
Yeah. Gotta avoid that one.
Yeah, you just kick the field goal.
Oh, it's first down. Damn. Yeah. Sack's not the end of the world. Throwing away is an option too.
Yeah, man. He's trying to like I saw the vision. I saw what he saw, but like no, you can't do that, bro. Same type of thing on this play. They're trying to get back in this game against the Packers. You get a full on blitz here. You know, of course, this offensive line is awful, so there's a leak, right? And we're basically getting kind of what I would say, kind of like an out route and then a corner here, right? You're getting this corner from Fant. You're getting an out route here from Lockett. And what you see is, like I said, it's open here if he had time. If he had time, this is a throw he could throw in the back of the end zone, right? But he can't make this throw. It's too far, too much pressure. He's about to get hit. Boom, right? And then it falls short, and it's intercepted in the red zone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all his interceptions look like this.
A lot of hero ball.
A lot of hero ball. It's either a tipped, which he did have a lot of tips, which I noticed. So, but that is Geno Smith. Like I said, he's definitely, I mean, he's the best quarterback we've had here in a while, for sure.
Yeah,
like it's not a debate here. I don't know if anybody's gonna debate that. And you could debate whether some of the limitations, like I said, the anticipation is not always the best, and some of those things. I think he anticipates better on like the 10-yard hitches and stuff like that, but it's like the middle of the field throws, maybe some of those deep passes. You maybe want him to throw the ball a little bit earlier, but I mean the playmaking's there, the athleticism there, the arm talent, the manipulating, cornerbacks, all those things you see from a high level pro quarterback are there, right? And that's why he's had the PFF grade over 75 passing grade in the last 3 years, which is pretty damn consistent. I mean, that's consistency.
Yeah,
in my opinion, right? And the Raiders have the talent outside to win, and they could add some more guys. And like I said, T-Mac becomes an option with somebody like Geno Smith who's going to trust him to win, and trust big plays for him. And then T-Mac is going to make those plays, especially with a lot of those back shoulders. So, yeah, I really like Geno Smith. I like the film, and I think it's refreshing to see the Raiders have a quarterback that you feel like we know is a starter. Like it's not a debate whether is Gardner Minshew a starter. Is Aiden O'Connell. There's no debate here. Like this is a starting quarterback, and we go for it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest differences between like this year, like the free agent signing last year with Gardner Minshew and trading for Geno Smith is like there is no quarterback competition, even if they draft someone else. Like Geno Smith is the starting quarterback next year, and they finally have someone with a hose. I mean, the last few years, what was it? It's been Jimmy Garoppolo, Gardner Minshew, and Aiden O'Connell, which is again like three guys that don't have the greatest arm strength. It's not going to be Geno Smith's problem. And it's funny, like obviously we talk a lot about Cam Ward recently and him being in this draft class.
Yeah.
Like if you like I've said this before, like Cam Ward's ceiling is Matt Stafford, his floor is Carson Wentz. Where in the middle he is and where he could probably be the most realistic projection is Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Is like that's kind of where I always landed. And so I think part of that is maybe that's the type of quarterback they wanted. They'll live with the bad plays, they'll live with the interceptions and the turnover worthy plays, but they want someone who can also make it and make up for it and whatnot. And I think that's what you get with Geno Smith. Obviously, just the more older and veteran version versus trading up for a guy like Cam Ward, who's probably going to go number 1 overall and may not even be available for you with what he's going to cost. So, yeah, again, I like the pickup. Do think they need to probably look into it. Is still drafting someone, but they don't have to do it this year, which is kind of nice. They can maybe wait till next year. And I think no matter what way you spin it, the quarterback room improved and they got better at the most important position on the field. So,
yeah, and I 100% agree with that. And also, with Geno Smith too, is just if they protect him, I mean, he might have a big season. It might be way better than you think. I mean, he didn't have protection at all last year. He still threw 4,000 yards, right? He still see on the film. He still was effective and still was making big time throws under pressure. So if they could protect him and he has time, then the Raiders could have a big season past throwing the football, which we haven't seen. And I mean, we're going on 4 years since that happened. So if they can build up the offensive line and they can do that, then he's gonna have a good year. I mean, it's obvious. So I mean, that's the best way to look at this. And then even if they have some problems with the offensive line, he can make up for it a little bit. I mean, with his poise and stuff like that under pressure.
Yeah, I know you mentioned Brock Bowers, which obviously I think is going to benefit from having Geno and having a better quarterback play. One guy that kind of popped up in my mind, I know there have been trade rumors about him recently, Michael Mayer. He might be a sneaky guy that he could be really good with Geno because of what you're talking about, those back shoulder throws, those contested catches. That's Michael Mayer's game, and that's what we've been waiting for from Michael Mayer, especially in the red zone. So who knows? Maybe this is a good fit for him where he can finally kind of get unlocked. Obviously, he's got to put in his work too, but as far as finding those big targets that can catch those back shoulder throws, he might be a guy that we see a big boost from getting some better quarterback play too.
Also, free Trey Tucker. That's what this is.
There we go. That's what I'm saying, man. I feel like you probably agree with this too. Like if you wanted to comp Trey Tucker to someone, it could be Tyler Lockett, right? That's kind of the idea with him. So I just want to see what Trey Tucker could do. You can't sit here and sell me on Trey Tucker over the last 2 years and then be like, I want Tyler Lockett now. Come on now.
I'm not saying
I gotta hold you accountable.
I'm just saying it's a possibility. I'm just saying that's a report.
I hear you.
But that's my thing. He could throw to Trey Tucker, and I've been waiting for somebody to do that because they haven't had anybody. If Trey Tucker's going, he's running that post route. Geno Smith's gonna throw it to him. So that's exciting stuff. All right. Any other last thoughts here, Matt?
I mean, not much, man. We got a busy week coming up. We'll see how it goes. Going to be running a little bit by the seat of our pants here with free agency coming up, but hopefully get some more good news on Monday and get some more good players coming in, get some more veterans, and like I said, maybe one of those defensive guys that I was talking about. I'd be stoked if they got any of those three to help out that side of the ball because got a lot of question marks. And I guess my final thought is pay Trayvon Merrick.
Yeah.
That's what I'll leave with us with.
Yeah.
Don't leave me with the hole at safety. Just pay the man.
Yeah,
he gets $14 million. Just give it to him.
Just give it to him.
I don't know what the cap space looks like after Geno, but just bring that guy back.
Especially if they end up giving Najee Harris stupid money. Oh my gosh, that bothers me.
If you're talking about paying someone $14 million and it goes to Najee over Trayvon Merrick, I'm gonna be pissed. And there's no slight to Najee. I like Najee's game, and I think he's a decent pickup.
Yeah,
but if it comes at the expense of Trayvon Merrick, I'd not be happy, especially in a deep running back class.
Yeah. No, I hope not. All right, hit the subscribe button, guys. Subscribe. We are out of here. Of course, we'll be back this week covering all free agency, so just be on the checkout for that. Check out all of the draft stuff we got as well. Like I said, that never expires. And then, Friday Night Live, got the mock draft yesterday, so they threw us for a loop. I used the third round pick they traded to trade up to get Jalen Monroe in my mock draft, but it didn't work out that way for me.
Yeah.
But hey, that's how it goes. But like I said, subscribe. We're out of here, guys. Peace.